Hello everyone, Tammy here. Welcome to my channel. Today I am doing the hashtag What's in My Basket 2025, and just to the right of me I have a large, well, it's not large, but a medium-sized basket where I have a whole bunch of I have some stuff that I have done some stuff with, and mostly I just have a lot of trash that I'm going to convert into items. And today, and I don't know how much longer, but maybe for a while, I'm working on book pages. So these I've already cut into tag shapes and pocket shapes. Um, just to show you what I started with. And then I also have covered these in paper. So I have this one that's going to be a pocket, and then I have these tags. So, and I'm going to do them all the same. I was going through some of my ephemera and not ephemera, embellishments that I have. And I have a bunch of these. They came from a whatchamacallit, like a collage book that you get on Amazon, and it was a butterfly one. And I have had this, probably one of the first things I purchased when I was started junk journaling, which I've had these for 4 or 5 years, and they're always around, and I want to use them up. So I'm gonna make these for the Cancer Care Center. The only thing I'm apprehensive of is these ones say Atkins cigarettes. Back in the old days, I barely remember this, but you could buy cigarettes like out of a machine, and sometimes they had like a little card tucked in them, a little cigarette card, and it was usually some kind of advertisement, I think. I don't know. I'm not quite. I'm a little too young to remember that for sure. But because they're going to the Cancer Care Center, I'm uncomfortable having cigarettes on there, because people could be looking through there who have lung cancer or any type of cancer, or just things that were caused by cigarettes. So I don't want to kind of advertise that, but so I am going to strategically cover. And I think I'm only using a couple of these. So I'm not too worried about that right at the moment. And so so this one I kind of, these tags are going to be really easy. They're all going to be the same, and I'll whip through them really fast. This one I is going to be a pocket, so I put a little more thought into it because I also have to cover up that where it says cigarettes. So I'm going to ink the pieces that I have for this and ask you how your day is going. Hope it's going well. I'm excited. I plan to hopefully today start filming my hashtag that I'm doing, collaboration with Caryl at Free Spirit Arts. Hashtag let's make together 2025. And we are working on a altering a composition notebook, which I have never done for junk journaling. I did one at one point for like a art journal, but that I've never done a junk journal, so that should be interesting and fun, and I'm actually excited. Okay, so I have these pieces, and I'm just gonna get to it. So these book pages that I have here are torn from the altered book that I'm also working on. I was hoping to have it done by the time I started this collaboration with Caryl, but that is not going to happen, and I'm okay with it. It's not for anyone in particular. I'm just making it to make an altered book because I enjoy that. I just noticed I don't have my wedding ring on. I was working in the garden and I had garden gloves on, and let's see, and I like my garden gloves to be very tight. um, I don't like wearing gloves, but I have to because I have a lot of allergies to plants and I get rashes. So I like the gloves to be pretty snug, and um, if I'm wearing rings, it's uncomfortable. It kind of hurts in between my fingers because of the tightness of the gloves. So I took them off. I know exactly where they are. I just forgot to put them on. And I'm using this lace that I got from Angela in the Happy Mail that she sent. I have a tendency to just use whatever is on my desk, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to put some glue stick and some of the Fabri-Tac. So if you are playing along with the What's in My Basket 2025, make sure that you tag me so I can come and see what you're doing. And then that is going to go right there. The other thing about the cigarette cards is my parents did not smoke, which is very rare for that time frame, but my grandparents did. But I never saw any cigarette cards at their house. I just know they existed. Okay, so there's a pocket. And then, let's see, I had one really skinny one. I think that was this one. I was gonna do one of these. So I also wanted to comment on the medication that I'm on that makes messes with my tummy. It's called Verzenio, and I'm not exactly sure of the exact like type of medicine. I do know that when I told my physical therapist that this was the medicine I was going on, she had looked it up and she called it chemo light. She goes, technically it's not a chemo drug, but it is, it has a lot of the same symptoms. And so she just kind of jokingly called it chemo light. It does have a few side effects. It's also fairly new, and it only helps with the type of cancer that I had, um, which was inflammatory breast cancer that had metastasized to one of the lymph nodes, um, on that side, on my left side, and so this and the type of cancer that I had, which I should remember, but I never. It's not triple negative, but it is fed by estrogen. So I take I take letrozole, which is a estrogen blocker, and what I was told from um, basically the surgeon, the way she described the Verzenio is that it is like a booster, like it boosts the effectiveness of the estrogen blocker. I'm guessing that's a very simplified explanation, um, but it does cause or can cause pretty significant digestive issues, um, but it's not consistent. It's very weird. It's the same with the fatigue. Like, I can go a whole week and I can feel great and not be tired, and I wouldn't say my stomach is ever great because it's not. But I can go 2 or 3 weeks without any disruptive issues, is what I should say. When it disrupts, like if I have to lay down or if I'm scared to leave the house, I call that, disruptive. Okay, so there's a pretty tag. This one doesn't need to be backed because it has blank book page. So I'll put that in the completed with the little pocket there. And then the rest of these are just going to be pretty basic. And all I'm going to do is glue these down. Just like this. That's how simple these are going to be. So the estrogen blocker, I have to take that for 5 years. And I've been on that for over a year. I started that last March. I think 6 weeks after my mastectomy, I started that medication. And then the Verzenio I started after radiation was over, because the radiation affects white blood cell count, and so does the Verzenio. So you can't take it at the same time. And my white blood cell count is low. It's another reason I don't like to go out or be around a big group of people very often, because I'm nervous about getting sick. Like I said, because my white blood cell count is low, and so yeah, I started that after a couple of weeks. Actually, I think I started at 3 weeks after. So around the it's been pretty much a year since I started the Verzenio, and at first they gave me a very high dosage. 150 milligrams 2 times a day, and that made me extremely sick, and so then I think I took it for like a week, and then they gave me a break for a couple weeks, and then they tried me back on the same dosage, and I had the same reaction, and Anyway, it finally settled out at 50 milligrams 2 times a day. And so that's where I am right now. But this medicine, I don't know that I've ever talked about like the cost of cancer treatment. Um, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's all I'm going to say. The Verzenio, and it's not a very old medication. Like I said, I think it's only been approved for use for 7 or 8 years. Um, but the effectiveness of it is very high. It's like 80 or 85% that the the type of cancer I had, um, it prevents it from coming back. So the success rate is 80 to 85%, which is a very high. That's just ridiculously high. So I'm powering through, for all those thinking, oh, why don't you just, ask to not take it? And reason being is that I don't want my cancer to come back. So I power through, and so far it's working well, doing its job. Do I wish I felt better? Yes. Am I willing to put up with some ickiness and feeling crappy for a couple years? Yes, I am willing to do that. And I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, oh, the cost. That's what I was talking about. So it's embarrassing to even say how much this medicine costs. This 50 milligrams that I'm on twice a day, so technically it's 100 milligrams a day. I have to request a new prescription every month or every 28 days. So I get a 28-day supply. I can only get it from one pharmacy, and it's a mail order pharmacy. And no one ever told me how much this medicine costs. No one. And until January of this year. And I don't know that I've talked about this. I might have talked about it already. But the pharmacy, the pharmacy that I get this medicine from, they called me in January for my January, prescription, and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that your copayment on this Verzenio is $5,000. And I just kind of paused, and I was like, $5,000 for a 28-day supply? And he said, yes, exactly. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to take the medicine if I have to pay $5,000 every 28 days. I said, that's how much the prescription costs for 28-day supply. And he goes, no, it costs $15,000 for a 28-day supply, and your insurance pays $10,000, and your portion is $5,000. And I said, well, I can't pay that. I can't, that's. He goes, well, you can call the maker of the medicine, which is Lilly, which I'm sure you've all heard of. I got some book page on there, but you know what? I'm going to leave it because I think it looks kind of cool. You can contact them. They have sometimes they waive the copayment. They waive the whatever your insurance doesn't cover. So I went online, to their website. I filled out a very quick form. It just kind of asked me the type of cancer, when I was diagnosed, that just treatment questions, really easy stuff, nothing tough. And then boom, right then I was approved to have the $5,000 copayment waived. So I don't have to pay anything for it. That's, a long story. But to tell you that if you don't have insurance, I don't even know. I don't know how people do it. I mean, it's crazy. And it turns out, because I also talked to someone at the Cancer Care Center in their financial section, and she was asking me some questions about when I first got the prescription. I did get it through the Cancer Care Center, not knowing that my insurance wanted me to get it through this other pharmacy. So none of us knew that, not even the Cancer Care Center. Apparently they didn't check in with the insurance. I'm not sure, whatever. But those 150 milligram tablets, so a 300 milligram for 28 days, that cost $24,000 for 28 days. So, and I just found that out just within the past couple weeks. Because when I got the prescription at the Cancer Care Center, I actually, I had my credit card out. I was all ready to pay it, whatever, my copay was, if there was one. And on the little readout, they have the thing that you insert your credit card in. I thought I saw $2,400. And I was just waiting to see what the pharmacist was going to say. And he said, oh yeah, no, you don't need to worry about that. Didn't even think anything of it. I just thought, oh, okay, it's covered by my insurance. The letrozole I take, I don't have to pay for any of that. That's all. The insurance takes care of that. So I didn't even think a thing about it. And told my husband, oh, I'm so glad we have insurance. Otherwise it would have cost $2,400. And he goes, well, I guess. And the sad part is that this medicine is so effective at keeping the cancer at bay and not letting it grow back. And the way my oncologist described it was, the longer that I can stay on it, up to 2 years, the better. And the success rate is just huge. And obviously, the medicine costs a lot of money, but if it prevents a year of cancer treatment, which I didn't quite have a year, but it close. And I had to get daily radiation for 30 days. No, it was 6 weeks, not 30 days. Yeah, it was 5 days a week for 6 weeks. And each one of those treatments is extremely expensive. And so, but again, I didn't have to pay for any of it, which is good. But if you don't have insurance, I don't know how you survive cancer. I just don't. I mean, I know that there's, financial programs and all that kind of stuff, but I just don't. It's kind of terrifying. But anyway, so I didn't pay for that, and it turns out I was supposed to pay for it at the Cancer Care Center, and there's nothing that they could do because, first of all, no one told me how much it costs before they prescribed it to me. And then the pharmacist told me I didn't have to worry about it. So, they can't just come back to me a year later and say, oh, you owe us $24,000. I mean, I feel bad for them, but, it is what it is. So, anyway, that's my That's my cancer treatment story. So basically, I've had, in October of 23, I started chemotherapy. I had chemotherapy until the 2nd of January was my last treatment. So I went from October to January. And then the 29th of January, I had a mastectomy. And all my lymph nodes removed on the left side. And I recovered until March, I want to say, and then I started radiation that I had to do 5 days a week for 6 weeks. And that ended the first part of May last year, 2024. And then I started on the Verzenio. So I haven't really, I had a few weeks. I had 3 weeks. So once radiation ended, they wanted me to start after 2 weeks, but I still felt like I was really weak from the radiation. So I waited an extra week before I told them I was ready. And in that last week, I felt so good. Like, I felt so good. So much energy, feeling strong, could walk up the stairs. There's just lots of recovery happening. And then I went on the Verzenio, and it just kind of stalled. And yeah, I have some days where I get so fatigued, muscle fatigue, brain fog, that it's just really hard to even walk up the stairs, but I manage. But it's, yeah, it makes it hard to plan any travel. I would like to go on a road trip, not very far. I want to go visit Caryl in Idaho. I want to visit my mom's best friend who lives in the same state as me, but very far away, the southeastern corner of the state. But it's just really hard to plan because of digestive issues. Never know when you're going to need a bathroom right now. And then the nauseousness. So yeah, it's tough. But one more year. So that's my cancer treatment story. And I continue to, my cancer is, they call it in remission. And for the type of cancer I had, if I can reach the 2-year mark, which technically is since surgery. So if I can make it to the end of January of 26, which isn't that far away, 7 months almost, then I have an extremely, extremely good chance of it not coming back. And they call you cancer-free at 5 years for the type of cancer I had. There's other types. My oncologist was telling me that they actually don't say cancer-free for 10 years. But the aggressive forms of cancer that spread quickly, they would come back quickly. So that's a good thing. Not saying I couldn't possibly get a different type of cancer, but chances are good that I will not get cancer again. Okay, so here we go. That was a chatty video. Now you know all about my medication. Pocket. And then these. I just think they're really pretty. And I'm going to use up the rest of those other ones. but I'll have to cover where it says cigarettes because I don't want that on there. But yeah, very fun. And I get to use up these because sometimes, I'm sure you can all relate to this, but you go through your embellishments and you're like, oh, there's those things again. And I just want to get them used up. I might even use some in my next video for hashtag Deck the Year. So there we go. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being subscribers and hanging out with me and commenting and giving me words of encouragement. It all just means everything to me. So I appreciate you, and I would love you to all have a great day. Remember to be good to yourself and be kind to each other. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.